Sacred law, energy's illusion. In the grand cathedral of physics, there are sacred laws. Principles so foundational, so unyieldingly robust, that they form the very pillars upon which our understanding of reality rests. And perhaps the most sacred of all is the law of conservation of energy. It's the first thing we learn, the universe's most fundamental piece of accounting. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted from one form to another. From the motion of a planet to the firing of a neuron in your brain, the total energy of a closed system remains constant. It is the ultimate bedrock, the one rule that is never, ever broken. But what if it's an illusion? Not wrong precisely, but a profound misinterpretation. What if this sacred law is pointing towards a truth so deep, so paradigm-shattering, that it forces us to question the very nature of what energy? This isn't a simple tweak to a known equation. This is a proposal that the most dynamic, powerful, and essential force in the cosmos, energy itself, is not a primary substance. It is not the actor on the stage. Instead, it is merely an echo. A ripple, a secondary effect cast by the one true, unyielding constant of the universe, time. To even begin to unpack that statement, we first have to appreciate the titan we're trying to topple. Our modern world is built on energy. We measure it in joules, calories, and kilowatt hours. It exists in a dizzying array of forms. There's kinetic energy, the energy of motion, which sends a baseball flying through the air. There's potential energy, the stored energy of position, like a boulder teetering on a cliff edge, ready to unleash chaos. There's thermal energy in the vibration of atoms, chemical energy locked within molecular bonds, and electromagnetic energy carried by photons of light that have traveled across the universe for billions of years to reach our eyes. For centuries, these seemed like disparate forces. The heat of a fire and the fall of an apple felt like completely different phenomena. But through the genius of scientists like James Prescott Joule and Hermann von Helmholtz, we came to realize they were all just different masks worn by the same fundamental entity. You can convert the chemical energy in gasoline into the thermal energy of an explosion, which creates the kinetic energy that moves a piston, and so on. The forms change, but the total amount of stuff, the energy, remains the same. This idea was given its ultimate mathematical authority by the brilliant Emmy Noether in the early 20th century. Noether's theorem is one of the most beautiful and profound insights in all of science. It reveals a perfect one-to-one correspondence between conservation laws and symmetries in nature. For every continuous symmetry, there is a corresponding conserved quantity. The conservation of momentum, for example, arises because the laws of physics are the same everywhere in space. And the conservation of energy? Noether proved it arises from a symmetry called time translation symmetry. This simply means that the laws of physics do not change over time. An experiment performed today will yield the same result if performed tomorrow or 1,000,000 years from now under the same conditions. Because the laws are constant through time, the total energy must also be constant. It's an idea of breathtaking elegance. It ties the flow of energy to the very fabric of time. But notice the assumption. It assumes time is a dimension through which things move and change, and that energy is the fundamental quantity being conserved in it. This is where the cracks begin to appear. On the grandest cosmic scales, our sacred law starts to look a little strange. Take the expansion of the universe. As space itself stretches, the light from distant galaxies gets redshifted. Its wavelength increases, and as a result, its energy decreases. Where does that energy go? Physicists will tell you that in an expanding universe described by general relativity, global energy conservation doesn't strictly apply. The time translation symmetry that underpins it is broken by the dynamic evolving spacetime. Then there's the mystery of dark energy, the enigmatic force driving this accelerating expansion. It appears to have a constant density, so as the universe expands, the total amount of dark energy, it seems to be created from nothing, a flagrant violation of the rule. And at the microscopic level, in the quantum realm, things are even weirder. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle allows for tiny, fleeting fluctuations in energy, where virtual particles can pop into and out of existence from the vacuum, borrowing energy from the future as long as they pay it back quickly enough. These are not small problems. They are fundamental paradoxes at the heart of modern physics. We've tried to patch them, to create exceptions and special conditions. But what if they aren't exceptions? What if they are signposts pointing away from energy as the fundamental quantity? This brings us to the precipice of our new idea, the hypothesis that turns everything on its head. What if time translation symmetry isn't just a property the universe knows about energy conservation? What if the constancy of time itself, a deeper, more absolute form of time, is the source and energy is the consequence? In this view, energy is not a thing to be conserved. Energy is the very bedrock of conservation in action. It's the sound that the universe's fundamental stillness makes as it persists. It's the vibration of an eternal guitar string. The string's existence is the primary fact. The note it produces is the secondary phenomenon we call energy. We've been so focused on the music that we forgot to ask what the instrument is. We've been studying the echo, believing it was the original shout.
And if that's true, then our entire understanding of reality is about to get a profound and necessary upgrade. Time's echo, cosmic constant. So, if energy is the echo, what is the shout? The answer requires us to fundamentally redefine our concept of time. When we say unchanging time, we are not talking about the ticking of a clock or the progression from breakfast to dinner. That is psychological time, the sequence of events we perceive. The time we are proposing as the ultimate constant is something far more profound. Imagine the entire history of the universe as a single, complete object, a four-dimensional block, where every event that has ever happened and ever will happen exists simultaneously. This is the block universe concept, and in this model, the flow of time is an illusion of our consciousness. The universe doesn't happen. It's simply, this eternal static block of spacetime is our candidate for the one true constant. It doesn't change. It doesn't evolve. It is the ultimate unyielding foundation of reality. Now, the crucial question: how can something so static and unchanging give rise to the dynamic, chaotic, and energetic universe we experience? How does a silent, still block create a symphony? The answer lies in the concept of vibration, or more accurately, a fundamental frequency. Think of it like a crystal. A perfect quartz crystal is a static, unchanging object, but it has a natural resonant frequency. If you apply a tiny bit of energy, it will vibrate at a precise, constant rate. Our hypothesis suggests that the block of space-time itself possesses a fundamental intrinsic frequency, a kind of cosmic hum. This universal oscillation is what we perceive as energy. It isn't a substance to space-time, it is an inherent property space-time's existence. The more intense the vibration at a particular point in the block, the more energy we measure there. A particle is just a localized, persistent knot of this vibration. A photon is a ripple spreading through it. The entire zoo of particles and forces in the Standard Model could be nothing more than different harmonics, different modes of vibration of this one fundamental time fabric. This perspective doesn't just explain energy, it revolutionizes everything. Let's look at the law of conservation. In this new model, energy is conserved for the exact same reason a musical note from a tuning fork has a consistent pitch. The total vibration of the system is a direct consequence of the unchanging nature of the object itself, the time fabric. Energy can't be created or destroyed for the same reason you can't fundamentally change the resonant frequency of a crystal without changing the crystal itself. The echo must be faithful to the shout. The cosmological puzzles also begin to look different. The energy lost from red-shifted photons isn't vanishing. It's simply the vibration dissipating, its frequency lowering as it travels through a region of the block universe that is itself structured to be stretched. Dark energy is no longer a mysterious substance being created from nothing. It could be the baseline, foundational hum of the time fabric itself, the ground state energy of existence, which becomes more apparent as the block's spatial dimensions expand. The implications for quantum mechanics are mind-bending. The famous observer effect, where the act of measuring a quantum system seems to force it into a definite state, could be recontextualized. Perhaps our measurement isn't just passively looking, it's an active interaction. It's like plucking a string on the cosmic instrument. Before we pluck it, the string exists in a superposition of all possible vibrations. Our interaction forces it to settle into a single, definite note, a specific energy state. Wave-particle duality becomes a question of perspective. Are you looking at the underlying vibrating string or the localized knot of energy it produces? They are two sides of the same coin, two ways of describing a vibration in the fundamental fabric of time. This even reframes the Big Bang. It may not have been a moment of creation time, but rather the event that set the entire block vibrating in the first place. It was the initial strike on the cosmic bell, the moment the universe was imbued with its total foundational energy, an echo that has been reverberating and complexifying ever since. The structure of our universe, the laws of physics, the constants of nature, they might all be encoded in the geometric structure of this eternal time block, defining the instrument and thus the music it can produce. We are not just travelers moving through time, we are part of the vibration. Our consciousness, our thoughts, our very existence are intricate patterns within this grand cosmic echo. We are living music, produced by an instrument of pure, unchanging, eternal time. This isn't just a theory of physics, it's a philosophical shift. It suggests that beneath all the chaos and change we see, there is a perfect, timeless stillness. And the entire glorious dynamic universe is simply that stillness expressing itself.